everyone. This is Barbara Arnwine with the Transformative Justice Coalition. We are so happy to be here with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and Dr. Charles Steele because we are helping to get voters out. Make sure people know that in Georgia for these Senate runoffs that they can early vote this week. That is this Monday, this Tuesday, this Wednesday, and this Thursday. Then they have to wait until Tuesday, the 5th, in order to vote. So it's better for people to vote right now. So our Motorcade calls people's attention to the fact that it's voting time. That's why our sign says, let's get into good trouble, vote. And so we go through the neighborhoods honking and calling people's attention to the fact that it is time to vote. And as you saw, and as you will see, people love to, fist bump at us, holler and get all excited because they know, yes, we care about their voting. This is not about a candidate, not about a political party. It is about voters.
And we thank you, Attorney Arnwine, and she's going to have to leave, so I'm going to be quick. We are working with her. This is a dynamic leader in her own right. And I'm just honored to be the president and CEO of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, working with Barbara. Attorney Arnwine is totally committed. We must vote and get out the vote in terms of this election. Thank you again, Attorney.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SCLC Today TV and our president and CEO, Dr. Charles Steele Jr. You were down in South Georgia getting out the vote, sir. Well, how was that about?
Well, it was very successful. We were down in South Georgia because we understood and working with Attorney Barbara Arnwine is just amazing. And that's what she does for her commitment in terms of her life work in her career is making sure that people will have the opportunity and the fairness and the judicial support to enable people to vote. And Attorney Arnwine and I worked on several issues before now, but this is something she's been doing, and not only in South Georgia or throughout Metro Atlanta has she been working on this, and we've been with her for the last few days. She's been to at least 12, 13 different states and cities throughout this country, if not more. And we want to commend her. And man, it's just amazing as we organize and work with Attorney Barbara Arnwine, how the Motorcade actually stimulate, motivate, get folks involved. We go through the communities and honk our horns. And, it's just amazing how people get excited. You know why? Because with the leadership of Attorney Arnwine and with us joining forces, SCLC, with the turnout of the vote, that people see the unity, the partnership, and the spirit of Dr. King, because he died for us to have the right to vote.
One of the highlights or the lowlights of 2020 was the death of Ahmaud Arbery in Brunswick, Georgia. You got a chance to talk to her aunt, Ruby Arbery, about voting. Let's listen to that.
And you said this is your first time voting?
This is my first time voting after 53 years. Never voted in my life until I had to this time.
And what made you do it?
The life of my nephew. And I want to make sure that they never, ever put them back in the chair again to do this to nobody's child.
Speak!
Because don't nobody's child deserve what happened to my nephew. And we're going to make sure justice is done.
Amen.
And every hand that was involved, God say he going to bring them to justice.
That's right.
They're going to serve their time.
That's right.
If they live on this earth and we keep living and we come together like we doing now, justice gonna be served.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna vote this time, and I got all my children, they vote.
Yes.
They never vote.
Yes.
So we in here.
Yes. Right.
What about your neighbors? What about
My
you going?
neighbors, everybody. We got so many people that done come out and supported us till I just couldn't believe it. But we didn't know it was just this much racism in this little small town. God knows we didn't know it until it happened to our nephew. When it happened to him, this way to stop at.
Say his name again.
His name is Ahmaud Arbery.
One more time.
Ahmaud Arbery. Say his name.
In memory of Ahmaud Arbery. So get out and vote. If y'all knew Ahmaud and knew what kind of person he was, get out there and vote. That's right. You know his family. Vote.
That's right. Because it shouldn't happen to nobody's child. Nobody should have to go through what my brother going through. Nobody in this world should have to ever have to go through what my brother went through for those pigs that they did my nephew.
Wow, that's powerful. Voting has become a very passionate, purposeful issue this time around, this runoff. Has it not, Dr. Steele?
Absolutely. People have discovered the fraudulent suppression of the vote. People have really discovered how important, you talk about the 1965 Voter Rights Act was at that particular time, and is now, Mr. Eden. Yeah. You know, we have gone back 55, 60 years in terms of the right to vote. We have actually gone back to state rights. Jim Crow. Jim Crow is alive and well. He's just more sophisticated. And we must understand that we have never been eradicated or removed from this system of Jim Crow, from the federal government, state government, and local government. This system has destroyed the fabrication of what is right in terms of African Americans and the racism that it has implemented. Even as recent as today, let me just talk about today. Today, just prior to the new year, we're talking about 115,000 votes that was monitored just in the last 48 hours by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, in Cobb County. They picked out Cobb County for obvious reason, because African Americans and fair-minded thinking folks were very successful on November the 3rd in bringing about the opportunity to elect a slate of African Americans, from the sheriff always to the election commissioners, all the way to county commission. We have an opportunity to show the world that we're not going to tolerate the fear, the intimidation, or anything that this system throws before us. The current president, in his administration, today, just prior, 48 hours before New Year's, that he's suggesting and recommending that the governor of Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp, resign. And well, let me go a little further. There were 50 GBI agents, Mr. Eden, who specialize in criminal justice and in the act of criminal justice and criminal justice reform. These were 50 agents who actually do this for a career and for a livelihood. They came back with only 2 out of 115,000 voter ballots, 115,000 ballots that was voted upon November 3rd. Only 2 that they said might have some question in terms of its regularity, but not anything fraudulent. Here was a young lady who was signing her name as Mrs., her name and her last name, her husband's name. She's been doing this for many years. Let's just say Mrs. Mary Johnson. That's her name in terms of her being married to her husband, who is now, has made his transition. He's no longer living. But she has been doing it for so many years that she continues to do that. Nothing wrong with that. That's the way she signed her name on all of her official documents. The other one, someone just actually signed their name in the wrong place. That can happen. Those are the only 2, Mr. E. Maynard, that's the only 2 out of 50 Georgia Bureau investigators, GBI, Those are the only things that they found out of 115,000 ballots. And now, because it didn't come out the way that the current president wanted it to come out, President Trump, he's asking the governor of Georgia to resign. How ludicrous can this be?
Now, sir, you've served in politics. You're politically savvy. What did you get from that? A Republican president asking a Republican governor to resign. That's like a war within themselves, within the party, is it not?
Well, it's a supportership that's not dealing with facts and evidence. You can't force yourself on your ideas and your ideology in terms of what you want and what you think should be right. You always have to have the facts. I'll go back to the Kenyan philosophy. What did I say? In whatever aspect of life you're dealing with, in dealing with the human element, you can go to the Kenyan philosophy. Number one, gather the evidence.
Yeah.
Hello? The evidence was gathered by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. 115,000 ballots. Gather the evidence. What's number two? Educate the public on the facts. Undebatably, case closed.
That philosophy works on a lot of levels in a lot of areas, does it not?
This is one of the greatest cases that we can look to for the Kenyan philosophy to be successful. And you know, I was not a part of talking to anyone that was involved, but I guarantee you, they followed the principles of Dr. King and the Kenyan philosophy in what they did. They were looking for the facts, and they got the facts. And out of 115,000 ballots, only 2 questionable concerns came out of this, and they were not intentionally to be misleading or falsely led.
Dr. Steele, you're sitting as the president of SCLC on Auburn Avenue in Atlanta. The whole world, certainly the whole nation, is watching this Tuesday's runoff. How important is this? These twin Senate races, you think?
It's very important. And what's more important than that, Maynard, is that what happens after the election. And we're nonpartisan. We're saying just give people, the citizenry of this country, and today it happens to be the state of Georgia with the runoff, give them the fairness and the confidence and the integrity of what this country was supposed to be founded upon, to have this right. Nonpartisan. We deal with the issues, and we deal with poor people. And what I'm really upset about is that this country could care less about serving the poor. There are 3 categories in being poor. You have the poor, the working poor, and the poor. And we have many poor folks, and working people who are poor. But the fact being, the country and elected officials never talk about it.
What's your epitaph on 2020 for the poor? What do you say happened to us, for us, about us in 2020?
Well, I think it was divinely sent by God. You know, many times we get too intoxicated and egotistically involved with everyday work and everyday successes. I think too many times and too often we think that we are so great as a person, as a people in society, and as an organizational structure within this system of being elected, being gifted by God to have certain talent, athletically, entertainmentally, politically, business-wise, academic-wise, all spectrum of us being successful, that we have forgotten about God. And I am a Christian. I am president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. And I thank God for giving us this opportunity, because many times we can continue, and where are you going? Many times we don't even know what destination we're trying to reach. But God put it on us. And I don't care
Put
who
a-
the president is. Who the
made
president
a
is.
step.
Go ahead, man.
Doctor, it made us step back, stay at home, think, reflect, pray. Did it not? I mean, this is a whole new era in 2020, was it not?
It's a whole new era, even with myself. I can't wait. You know, many times my wife say, why are you sitting on the bed and the sun not out? I said, I'm waiting for the sun to come out because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. You know, forget it. You know, but I do pray. Now, you don't have to get on your knees to pray, but I do get on my knees to pray. But this is all I'm saying. I'll be less than what I know the principles of my Christianity is if I don't talk about God in this matter and in this particular situation. I'm not afraid. You know, in some countries, they'll kill you for being a Christian. Matter of fact, they'll kill you here. They killed Dr. King. Dr. King was just a servant working for those who were in need of someone with the courage to stand up to eradicate and relieve them. Let me run this by you, man. In the slavery experiment from this country on the plantation, the master would always try to get us with religion. And you know what the first thing he would do? He would take out of the book of Exodus from the Bible and would not let the slaves be educated into Exodus, knowing that God will lead his people out of bondage. He took it out, the slave master. This is a part of the historicity from which we have come, and we need to know the facts. Where did it happen? In the United States of America.
COVID-19, though, is still with us. It took many of us away. It eradicated many of our families, especially in the Black and poor communities, because we had to still go to work for whatever jobs was left. It paid quite a toll on our families. What's your report about that at the end of the year? And where do we go from here, Dr. Steele? What's next? What's 2021 hold as your political seer? You know all these things.
Well, what needs to take place, first of all, I'm being redundant, and I will forever be redundant when it's something that we need to express impactfully so our people would know. First of all, we have gotten two political lies in terms of our daily lives. We think that politics can free us. Politics cannot free us. We must free politics. When you hear the leader of the United States of America, Senate, say that he is against giving people who, you're talking about tens of millions of people, and 40 million going to be evicted in the next few days. When the leader of the U.S. Senate, one of the most powerful positions that one can have other than the Oval Office of being president, when he said he's not going to address and move forward the issue of the citizenry who normally would be working, who've been out of work for the last year, roughly, because many people understands the fact that even though you had a job, you didn't have enough money to pay and take care of your family. Minimum wage, $12 an hour, $15 an hour, not enough to do what it takes to pay for your children's education, even your education as an adult. But here's the leader of the United States Senate, Senator Mitch McConnell, get on the Senate floor and say he's not going to address the issue of giving people who are worthy much more than $2,000. But $2,000 is a start to give $2,000 to those who have been left out of the economic aspect of our society. And we just getting over the fact of the holidays. Many people didn't have a Christmas. I told my wife, we weren't giving no presents. We're not going to give nobody no present. We're going to give it all to God as we share with him, letting him know that we're going to be better because this world will never be the same because of this pandemic. God had to remind us to get on our knees and give thanks and help others.
Great message. Great insight. Finally, sir, what's your 2021 New Year's wish? And we'll leave it go at that. What are we wishing for tomorrow?
Well, starting in the next 24 hours, we should be, first of all, grateful, should be with our families and friends, not out partying, having a good time, socializing, but giving thanks to God that we made it this far. I just heard just a few hours ago where a congressman-elect out of Louisiana got COVID just a few days ago. Never was able to fulfill his position as being a congressman. 41 years of age. And now he has made the transition. And I heard so many young folks saying that, you know, you old folks are the one have to worry. You know, we are young. You know, you'll get it before me. I told one of them, I said, I promise you, God gonna protect me and my family because I know God and God know me. Running out, getting high, running out thinking that it's your forward no more, your friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, us forward no more, that ain't gonna get it. And putting on the music, having a good time. No, you must realize that you didn't wake yourself up this morning. You might have an alarm clock, but it wasn't your alarm clock. It's a power that's greater than you are. If you think it was your alarm clock, take it out to the cemetery and set it off and see how many folks can get up. It wasn't your alarm clock. It was God. And God is putting that pandemic in the society of the world, not just America, but the world. And I have to close with this. It was Mikhail Gorbachev, former president of Russia, who told me, Steele, we live in a global village now. We must be concerned about the world and not just individualized countries. That's the price you pay to get an education when you travel and get opinion and listen to other folks. And many times we don't listen enough. Oh, he's from Russia. He's not like us. And we go for the okie doke on stuff like that. When the whole world is looking to African Americans and fair-minded thinking people of all aspects of life to lead us out of this stuff. And guess what? You just might be the chosen one.
This was a global pandemic, was it not? And it impacted us across the world. But most of all, sir, your leadership is impacting people too. And I thank you, as my New Year's wish, thank you for allowing me to work with you and for you. You're a real leader, Dr. Steele. You really are.
Thank you, Mr. Eden. I appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been SCLC Today TV. We'll see you next week in the new year.